How you doing, everybody? It's Wardy here, and we have some new Mets news to get into, which has dropped over the past hour or so at the time of recording this one, that Mr. OMG himself and Jose Iglesias' time with the Mets has officially come to an end. After Jose Iglesias publicly spoke to Jon Heyman in an interview just around 2 weeks ago or so, pleading how much he would love to return to this Mets team, saying how until he signs somewhere else, that door is still open. Well, now he has signed with the San Diego Padres. We'll get into where exactly that reporting stems from, what kind of contract Iglesias landed on, why did the Mets not bring back Jose Iglesias, was this the right or wrong move by David Stearns in this front office, and ultimately, what are the Mets going to do now with their utility position is what we're going to break down right here, right now. So thank you guys so much for smashing that like and subscribe buttons. Your first chime in, and let me know your initial reactions to Jose Iglesias Canalita, no longer a New York Metropolitan. Shout out to our amazing sponsor as well at BetUS that has you covered not only with all your sports betting needs, but also all your gambling needs, folks. Get ready with the rush that comes with BetUS Casino. Generous promotions and tournaments make every play even more rewarding. Sign up now and experience a difference. Get your bonus 200% sign up bonus up to $5,000, a 250% crypto sign up bonus up to $5,000. Whether you're gambling or betting, make sure you do it responsibly here at betus.com.pa today. Now, folks, let's get into where this news initially stems from that many of you guys know by now. Initially broken by the man who had that one-on-one interview with him over a week ago. And Jon Heyman didn't initially break the news, but he did come out with the initial contract details, I believe, before others, because Robert Murray initially had the scoop that we saw from Fansided that, yes, he's landing on a one-year minor league deal with a spring training invite. For those that are unaware what kind of contract structure that is, that's the exact same deal that the Mets signed Jose Iglesias to last offseason. It was a minor league contract that we saw with the spring training invite. And for Iglesias, who put up a tremendous 2024 campaign, not only the OMG Mets, that was quite the run where after he performed at Citi Field, the Mets had one of the best records, if not the best record in all Major League Baseball all summer long. And went in hand because of Canalita helped leading the way, other than guys like Francisco Lindor, most notably. But Mr. OMG posted a 337, 381, 448 clip for the Mets last year. A more valuable player than Pete Alonso, and not only wins above replacement, but in weighted runs created plus there, and how above league average of a batter he was, because he was almost 40% above league average as a batter that we saw in Jose Iglesias last year. But now let's lead to how did we get to the point where the Mets did not bring him back, and he landed on just an absolute best $3 million deal here that you guys see with the San Diego Padres. Well, let's start with the 110% tax. That's something notable. That's something that David Stearns and Steve Cohen have been rather stubborn with this offseason, especially for guys that they did not want to initially bring back to begin with this offseason, or maybe felt their hands were somewhat forced due to injury to guys like Nick Madrigal or Jose Quintana. When you look at guys like Frankie Montas and Sean Manaea, the Mets still stood firm on not wanting to bring these veterans back, and they have their valid reasons. And let's get into the 110% tax first, because the Mets did not want to sign Jose Iglesias to a one-year deal where, even though he's not getting a guaranteed major league contract, if he got the same structure as the Padres here when looking at AAV, that would equate to right around $7 million is what the Mets would have to spend should Iglesias be on the roster at any point. Because, one, the 110% tax doubles what they would initially spend on the $3 million AAV, and secondly, the Mets don't love the idea of having Jose Iglesias be up with the team, then not having the roster flexibility because he doesn't have minor league options, the way that Nick Madrigal at least had one left. That was the main appeal behind him. So now the Mets would find themselves, and they're kind of shooting themselves in a foot situation where no one would probably take on Jose Iglesias if they DFA him, even maybe because of the value of the contract. And then bam, you're going to have to deal with that while, okay, you're going to have to deal with the repercussion of him then being sent down after being a high contact hitting guy for the Mets, and maybe on paper isn't most deserving, but makes most sense for the organization because of what the roster currently is standing at, where they want more flexibility. They want guys with minor league options in there, and they don't want it to be a situation where they feel stuck with a person the way that they do with Starling Marte to an extent right now with his contract as a guy that can't do anything outside of platoon DH for the most part. These are all reasons as to why the Mets did not bring back Canalita as much as we would have loved to see it happen. I'll be the first to say I was beating that drum, and it's honestly a shame a little bit. I'm gonna be completely blunt. I completely understand the business side of it, the I think we have confidence in getting similar production out of some guys, even internally right now. Is as great as Iglesias was last year, it wasn't like he was the end-all be-all offensively. And while that is true, what's also true is that Iglesias, even with the expectation that the numbers wouldn't be the same as last year, you're expecting him to be able to handle any role because he is a seamless fit for this team on the selfless aspect. Iglesias just wanted to be here, just like Jesse Winker made and noted yesterday in our video that we broke down on how much he wanted to return the Mets and go nowhere else, right? Jose Quintana wanted to return the Mets bad until he went to the Milwaukee Brewers over the past 48 hours or so. So the point is that everyone that left the Mets, not named Harrison Bader for the most part, wanted to return to the Mets after the 2024 season. If Iglesias returned this Mets team, I think he would have been absolutely fantastic as a true mentor to the Luis Angel Acuñas, to the Brett Beattys, to the Roddy Mauricios, the Jet Williams, and the other infield options that we have internally right now. I understand roster structure-wise, it doesn't make as much sense, which is why the Mets wouldn't go down that route. But from a selfless aspect, I think Iglesias was willing to handle any role the same way that Jesse Winker is willing to handle any large or small role given to him by the Mets in the course of a 162. Then you add in the vibes, you add in the aura, you add in how much this man impacted this team positively on a clubhouse culture basis. JD Martinez, when speaking to Joel Sherman and John Heyman in a recent interview through the New York Post, stated how much Jose Iglesias was that X factor. When things were doom and gloom, when JDM first got in that clubhouse, mind you, he didn't start the year for the first month with the Mets because he didn't have spring training because he signed late. Once he returned, Carlos Mendoza asked him what they could do to better the club at the moment, as they were completely free-falling early, and he said, call up Jose Iglesias. He's a kind of charismatic personality that you want in this clubhouse as a high contact machine. He always has been throughout his career. Now Jose Iglesias is going to be able to exemplify all those qualities and then some, this time with a team that the Mets will more than likely be competing heavily with throughout the course of the season, that being in the San Diego Padres. Now let's get into why this isn't overly shocking from the Padres' point of view. The Padres had Jose Iglesias in their organization last before the Mets. For those that don't know, Jose Iglesias was actually buried in AAA there that we saw for the San Diego Padres in 2023. Never really was given an opportunity at the major league level for them at the time, because if I'm not mistaken, they did have, Davin Solano types, whether that was just in 2024, maybe 2023. I know that they've had plenty of contact hitters in recent years, obviously the biggest one in Luis Ariz and others, but now to bring in a guy like Iglesias who will have a greater opportunity to crack this Padres roster than he did a year ago is what's very appealing for them, especially after losing out guys like Ha-Seong Kim, who was signed with the Tampa Bay Rays on a just under $30 million contract. They're looking for an infield replacement there where he can pretty much be utilized all around the diamond. And that's where Jose Iglesias comes into play. Funny enough, he just hit himself, was that a double off of Dylan Cease? Of course it is, and now they're teammates. So Jose Iglesias, I'm wishing him the absolute best, of course, as he's driving Jesse Winker, at least moving him over there in the highlight. But I'm going to miss Jose a lot. I wish him the absolute best in San Diego. He's going to thrive in Petco, and those fans are going to eat him up in the best way possible. Padres fans are very passionate, and they're going to get the best out of him. And it's just a bummer to me because it really feels like that this is a reality where we're going to see Jose Iglesias play up in a deep lineup for the Padres and have some clutch at-bats, including maybe against our Mets down the stretch this year when we could have had him on the roster in the first place. That's what bothers me most about guys like Iglesias and even Quintana going to competing teams in the National League, because that's going to come back to bite this team more often than not. That's been the case in recent Mets history. Maybe we shouldn't focus on recent Mets history, because this isn't as much the LOL Mets as it is the Steve Cohen Mets now, where they actually know what they're doing. So I will have faith and confidence in David Stearns, but I will be completely honest in saying that I need to see to believe it if it was the right route for them to stay internal for their utility position. Because now by the Mets opting for no Jose Iglesias, even after Nick Madrigal's year is already done before it started. By the way, today's Nick Madrigal's birthday. Happy birthday, Nick. I mean, talk about timing. I know, it's insane right now. Point is, though, is that if the Mets are really going to roll with Brett Beatty, Luis Angel Acuña, or Donovan Walton, it better not be Donovan Walton. I'm sorry. I don't care if that guy bats 500 all spring. Unless he's completely changed his mechanics and was working the Mets hitting lab, that's more than we know right now. I don't love the idea of Donovan Walton being anything more than just another Zach Short, Nick Madrigal type that they're going to have up for the first couple weeks to a month that we're like, wow, he was pretty much useless on the offensive end. Are we going to do anything about it? And then, bam, they finally do something about it, but what they do is they just DFA him and then bring up the guy that they should have brought up, like Jose Iglesias, Iglesias to begin the regular season last year as a great example, instead of a guy like Zach Short, who was nothing but a liability. Same thing with Joey Wendell, among others. So Brett Baty and Luis Angel Acuna is a great discussion here, and Baty, it is his job to lose, in my humble opinion. Not only because how great of a spring he's had, Donovan Walton battling out as they are two lefty bat options off the bench, which is to a degree more appealing to the Mets than Jose Iglesias. The Mets have an abundance of righty options right now, including Starling Marte. Jesse Winker's going to be getting more starting reps than not from the DH position, so there is no true lefty bat off the bench on a daily basis the way that Brett Baty would be that, or to a lesser degree, Donovan Walton. And I firmly believe it's still going to be Baty's job to lose until proven otherwise, but those are the reasons, especially knowing that Baty still has minor league options. This is kind of a make or break year for him, so the Mets, I think, also have a level of confidence and hope that Baty can blossom to a degree, not necessarily to Mark Vientos level, but to a level that will make him more of an MLB mainstay, or that we're all going to quickly forget about Jose Iglesias' impact, not in the sense that we want to forget about it, but rather it's going to be easy to move past because of how much of a greater story and script the Mets are going to write here in 2025 with Juan Soto, with another year of Mark Vientos, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Jose Siri, who I'm excited to see a lot more of, among many others now a part of this Mets clubhouse, folks. I understand both sides of the coin, and I can definitely see where this comes back to bite the Mets, while completely seeing while this can not only maybe not bite the Mets, but be a smart, savvy move by David Stearns to maximize his roster flexibility. So Mets fans, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, whether you're on, I wanted Mr. Candelita back and I'm bummed that he's not back, or two, it made sense that he's not returning with no minor league options, let's give the kids a chance. Whatever side you fall on, thank you so much again for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below in case you haven't already, and make sure you're chiming in for more consistent content on all things Mets, all spring training, regular season, and off-season long. As you guys know, we just hit 32,000 subscribers. Drum roll, please. Thank you so much for that. We are giving away a Mets jersey to one lucky subscriber. It can be a Juan Soto jersey, a Lindor jersey. It could be a Candelita jersey for all I care. Just a player. Actually, no, it shouldn't be Candelita. Only a player that's on the active roster is what I'm going to limit it to. For one lucky subscriber to automatically win. And all you guys got to do to enter is chime into our live stream tomorrow night, Thursday evening, barring changes. I'll be live for either post-game coverage or a Big Mets update segment. It will be labeled as one of the two after the conclusion of the Mets game against the Astros Thursday night, folks. Be on the lookout. Join that live show. Make sure you're chiming in, because if you don't, you will not have a chance to be entered. I'm going to randomly select on the comment of one lucky subscriber in the live show, and whoever I select, you'll be the automatic winner. We'll get your info through email or through DM, and then we will get that jersey packed up and sent your way ASAP. We gave away a Juan Soto jersey at 30,000 subscribers, a Juan Soto Met shirt jersey at 31,000. Now we're giving away another Mets-related jersey to a lucky sub here real soon on the platform 24 hours from now. So thank you guys again for the support, and be on the lookout for your guy Wardy, as I'll be attending spring training starting this Saturday, March 8th, and we will be having a live event there probably in the evening on Sunday that I'm really excited to get the details out for you guys shortly. So be on the lookout on the community tab as well as on socials, because this is something that we're going to be having a lot of fun with over a 4 or 5 day stretch. I'll be hitting spring training games, hanging out with you guys. We'll be doing at least one live show where you guys can come in, chime in, maybe share some words as well if we get a chance to actually bring you into the frame like we did at Amazing Day with some former and current players. And maybe we're going to have some current players as part of the live show again. You'll just have to see it to be a part of it, guys. But no less, thank you again for watching. As always, no matter what, let's go Mets, baby. Peace out.